Market is falling, right? Everyone is hunting for the bottom. कहाँ से market bottom out होगा? Uh, we don't know how much downside is still left. There are there is also it is also said that market it's impossible to determine the top and the bottom of the market. But today, in I'm going to show you one study which attempts to determine the bear market bottom. This study is not of mine. This study was done long back by Paul Desmond and popularly known as 90% downside days. Although it is not, I said it's a popularly known as, but it's not really popular as of, it's not that much known or that much popular. So there is no harm in this, attempting to identify this bear market bottom. I say it's not 100% or full foolproof study, but it gives you some clue, and that is very important. So, without wasting time, let me take you into my screen and let me show you how you can observe these set of data to determine the bear market bottom. But I have a disclaimer that I do not have any buy, sell, hold recommendation in the index or in any stock. And whatever I'm going to convey you, this is for educational purpose only. So let me take you into my screen and let me start with the Excel file which you can use for determining the market bottom. See, I have captured this data. This data, there are so many sources. I need not to say from where you will get it. You know better than me. So this is Nifty 50 stocks. Okay, you can do it for broader market with CNX 500 also. So this is Nifty 50 stock. And what I need to do the study, there are a few factors needed. First one is upside volume and downside volume. Now the question is, what is upside volume? Upside volume, it is considered that the stock which has closed positive is upside. Like the volume created uh, during this closing, which closed actually positive, is upside volume. If I could not convey you properly, then let me further clarify it. Let's say the first stock, which is Adani Enterprise, it closed 7% up today. 7% up means it's positive side, right? Now, its quantity is this much, some 41 lakh something. So, this 41 lakh volume should be considered as the upside volume for Adani Enterprise as the closing is positive. If the closing is negative, let's say for Apollo Hospital, it is 1.94% negative. So the volume created, that is 3,62,000, it must be considered as downside volume. So in that way. Now what I have done, I have used a simple if formula. So I can rewrite it. And one another thing I must mention, upside means anything more than zero. So I have considered also zero as upside. So anything, I'm not sure whether zero should be taken as upside or zero should be taken as downside or zero can be avoided. I would say it's your choice. I have taken zero as positive. So what I have done, let me rewrite the formula. Before that, let me make the screen bit bigger. So this is the formula. You can check here in the formula bar also. So let me rewrite the formula. This is equal to if what I'm going to do, my at motive is to find out the positive number, positive close. So percentage change, this column, if this column is more than or equal to 0, you can, it's your call, you can take 0 as positive, you can eliminate 0 as well. So if this percentage change column is positive or 0, then 0 or more than 0, then I'm capturing this quantity as upside quantity, right? Else, sorry, else means comma 0. Okay. So this is the formula. It is getting reflected here. It just drag down, nothing else. Okay. So as the volume, this is the upside volume, correct? This is the upside volume. I hope it is clear to you. Now, similarly, I'm using the downside formula. If the similar percentage change column is less than 0, then quantity must be this one, else 0. Correct? So I know you people are mm, very much acquainted with this Excel formulas. So you can see this upside volume, wherever 0 means it has closed negative. So any closing at any flat closing or positive closing is considered as upside, uh, means upside. So the volume in the upside is upside volume, and in case of negative closing, volume is downside volume. Now what I'm doing, I'm just clubbing these data. So I use the sum formula. You can see very well this upside volume and downside volume has been clubbed together, correct? So this is total upside volume, and this is total downside volume. This AM column is total upside volume, AN is total downside volume. One another task we have to do, that is points gain. We have to calculate points gain and points lost. So what I'm doing here, again, let me rewrite the formula. Similarly, if this percentage change is more than or equal to 0, then this is, this value will be taken. Else, sorry, okay, this value will be taken, else 0, correct? Okay. If just try to understand here one small thing. As it is positive, as the closing is positive, and this it is directly taking this one. If this value is positive, then this is also taking this one. Now here in this case, for the third case, Apollo Hospital, the row number 11, its closing is negative. It had a 132 133 point loss, uh, absolute term. So what it is doing, as it is more than 0, so naturally it is reflecting 0. On the other side, what I'm doing, if if again, same thing, percentage change is less than 0 in this case, then what I am taking, I'm taking this value, else 0. So naturally, wherever the data is negative, it will reflect here, right? So it is coming this side, positive is coming this side, negative is coming this side. That's it. Nothing else. Now what I'm trying to do, acha, let me do one thing. Acha, it's not working. This so many decimal points are very problematic. It's visually very problematic, nothing else. Now it looks good. Okay. So what I'm doing here, again, just like volume, I'm again clubbing this data as well. Similarly, there's just use the sum formula, correct? And club it. This is the point gained. And this is the points lost. Now what I'm doing, this is the framework I have done. Now I will be applying the final formula. What I'm going to do, total upside, let me compute it. I can compute in the previous page as well. Now this is the upside volume, okay, equal to upside volume divided by upside plus downside volume, means total volume. What is the percentage of upside volume in the total volume? Means in the total volume, what is the contribution of upside? Similarly, you can do it, or you can use the 100 minus or 1 minus this. In that way also you can compute. Better you take the downside volume and use the same thing, uh, club the total volume, club the upside and downside volume, and you can get the same result. So this is the volume. This is something which we were looking for. That 77% upside volume, 23% is downside volume in the total volume. Similarly, points gained, what we will be doing, this is the upside, the point gained out of total points gained or lost. It's 3 times. Sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Upside means points gained. This one minus this one, because I want to club whatever entire uh, activities happened. So this is 58, 59%. And for this case, just take a negative value, because ultimately I want to get it in positive. So negative of downside volume, downside value plus upside value minus downside value, because I've captured this downside in negative, right? It's not in positive. So you can do either, or you can use a negative sign in this particular formula as well, so that downside everything will come negative, will come in positive. So no problem, as per your convenience. So this is 41%. See, so in the entire activity, points gained or lost, 59% contribution is upside and 41% is downside. So how do you interpret with this? Now the interpretation is, uh, Paul Desmond is saying, it's this study is called 90% downside days. So 90% of the total volume, 90%, minimum 90% or more of the total volume must be downside volume. Try to understand. 90% of the total volume must be downside volume. And to qualify further, the 90% of the points lost means in the overall points gained and lost, 90% must be downside points. Means the loss must be 90%. Here the loss must be 90%, like the downside volume must be 90%, and downside uh, points lost also must be 90%, at least 90% or more. So With that, it qualifies for 90% downside days. Otherwise, it does not qualify for 90% downside days if either or means goes in like either of the volume or points matches, it does not qualify for this particular set of study, because both of the volume and points gained or lost must be in the similar line. Both must have lost 90%. Means downside must be 90% in terms of volume as well as in terms of value. That is something I wanted to convey. Now, these two consecutive or two very close 90% downside days means not necessarily consecutive 2 days, maybe within a very short span. I'm not very sure about this particular area. So, two consecutive days or two very close occasion 90% downside days, along with followed by 190% upside day. So at least two consecutive or two very close proximity of 90% downside days. I said what is 90% downside days? That combination of volume and uh, points lost, both must be 90% to qualify for the downside days. So 90% downside days for two consecutive or two very close proximity 90% downside days, followed by 190% upside days, which Paul Dismont has referred as panic buying. So according to him, this is basically an indication of upside or let's say bottoming out of the market. I'm not sure, but I tracked these data earlier and I found this gives some good indication, but I'm not very sure, because recent past I didn't check this data, how does it work, but logically it sounds it may work. It at least it gives you some indication. It's not necessarily that people follow one particular study. It's an indication only. Along with that, you can use your other parameter. There are various parameters, your derivatives buildup, your other set of data, your advanced decline, PCR. So lots of data you must be tracking. So your set of study along with this can means it's one, it can help you to, what should I say, like to become more confident about your other parameters. Means one must complement each other. That is something I wanted to convey. So that is it, without wasting much time. So this is the study I found. I thought like it can be helpful for you guys. So I have shared this study. I hope that you must uh, appreciate my effort, and I request all of my viewers to subscribe my channel for getting this type of uh, innovative or unknown or maybe good ideas uh, to trade or to invest. So that's it in this particular video, and please don't forget to subscribe my channel. See you in the next video. Thank you so much.